Kancana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining the call and welcome to our Bhagavad-gita discussion class. And we are doing which chapter and which verse should we do today?
8.7.
Chapter 8 and text
Chapter 8 and 8.7. All right. And who joined us just now?
Kiran Mataji.
Kiran Mataji. We have two Kiran Mataji, so I need more information. Is it Kiran Goyal or is it Kiran Khosla? Which one is it? It is
Kiran Khosla Mataji has joined.
All right. So your reading order is up there. And we are going to read from Bhagavad-gita 8.7. As usual, we will go through the translations. Okay. So let me bring up the translation view for all of you, and we will get started as soon as you ask me to do that. Okay, and you already know your reading order. Your reading order is posted on the WhatsApp group for San Mateo Bhakti Vriksh. And without much ado, I'm going to start sharing my screen here with you all. And who goes first?
Me.
Komal Mataji.
Please, me.
All right. Then take it away, Mataji.
Attaining the Supreme. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the Self? What are fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? What are the demigods? Please explain this to me.
Who is the Lord of sacrifice and how does he live in the body? Mataji, just bring little up. O Madhusudana, and how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? Hare Krishna.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible, transcendental, living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhatma, the Self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma or fruitive activities. Vindavali Mataji.
Yeah, I know. I'll go to Srila Prabhupada. Say, O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature, which is constantly changing, is called Adibhota, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, like those of the sun and moon, is called Adidaiva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the super soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adi Yajna, the Lord of Sacrifice. Jyoti or somebody, no?
Jyoti Mataji.
And whosoever, Hare Krishna ji, and whosoever at the end of his life quits his body remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt, Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji, sorry, I forgot to unmute. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, the state he will attain without fail. Hare Krishna ji.
Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt.
Hare Krishna. He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O path, is sure to reach me.
Yes, Mataji, can you please? Yes. One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is the smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and he is transcendental beyond this material nature.
Hare Krishna. One who at the time of death fixes his life between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga, with an undeviating mind, engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion, will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna. Jyoti.
Hare Krishna ji. Person who are learned in Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the denounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. Hare Krishna ji.
Hare Krishna ji. The yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air at the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga. Hare Krishna.
After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets.
Hare Krishna. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. Hare Krishna.
After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection.
From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna ji. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form the duration of Brahma's one day, and such is the duration of his night. Hare Krishna ji.
Hare Krishna ji. At the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifest state, and thereafter, when the night falls, they are merged into the unmanifest again. Hare Krishna.
Did somebody else also join?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Deepa here.
Yeah, okay. So Deepa, you can read. And let me just give me a second. I'll also post. Okay, it's not letting me do that. I will also post your name on the San Mateo Bhakti Vish group to which I added you. Yes, last time. I think last week. Yeah. So on that, I'm putting in the reading order. So that's fine.
Okay.
I just did that, and let's come back here. So yeah, text 19. We're each reading one translation. And thank you for joining us. I'm happy.
Thank you, Hare Krishna Mataji. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated.
Yet there is another unmanifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is.
Hare Krishna. That which the Vedantists describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, the place from which, having attained it, one never returns. That is my supreme abode. Hare Krishna.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all-pervading and everything is situated with him.
O best of the Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which, passing away from this world, the yogi does or does not come back. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna ji. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attains the Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of fairy god in the light at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, and during the 6th month when the sun travels in the north. Hare Krishna ji.
Hare Krishna ji, the mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon, planet, and again comes back. Hare Krishna.
According to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back, but when one passes in darkness, he returns.
Although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion.
Hare Krishna. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for reading. So, yeah, reflection time.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Deepa?
So, is this somehow related, like when you chant, and if you chant and if you do all, you think of Krishna, but somehow you do not pass away in those days, or if you did not chant and you happen to pass on those days, does it affect?
The bad ones, huh?
Mm.
The bad days, the darkness and
Mm.
waning moon and all that, right? In
Mm.
6 months when the sun is in the southern atmosphere.
Yeah.
Here, if you notice, he's talking about yogis and he's calling them mystics and not the bhaktas. So there are different levels of yogis, right? One can do yoga to attain some mystic powers, but the best and the highest yoga is bhakti yoga, where you connect with Krishna, right? So after explaining these two, and he said there are two ways of passing, one in light and one in darkness. And after that, Krishna says, Nete sthiti parthajanan yogi buddhyati Kṛṣṇa. Right? So he's saying that a devotee is not bewildered by these things. A devotee is only looking for devotion. It doesn't matter. Like if a person is just looking for a glass of water, he will get it in a panwala shop. He'll also get it in a 5-star hotel. He doesn't care, right? And if he's drinking water to hydrate himself, he says, okay, oh, now Sukomal Radhe Mataji drank some water. Immediate action. So, yeah, so if the main purpose was to hydrate yourself, the person is saying to that person doesn't matter. You can get a Bisleri bottle in this shop, panwala shop, and you can also get it in a 5-star hotel, right? So it's all about where the focus is. So for a devotee, where is the focus of a devotee?
On Krishna.
The focus is Krishna, right? And
devotion.
more importantly, doing service to Krishna. And the service could start with
Devotion service.
yeah, jivadhav. Jiva Adau. In the beginning, your service begins with the tongue. And how does the service begin with the tongue? You glorify the Lord with your tongue, and you also honor prasadam with your tongue, right? Those are the two ways in which you can start that. So a person's focus is, a devotee's focus is on serving Kṛṣṇa. And as long as he is able to serve Kṛṣṇa anywhere, it doesn't matter whether he's in a hellish planet or whether he's in a heavenly planet. Actually, in heavenly planet, the chances of serving Kṛṣṇa are much less reduced, right? As you can see here also, the more affluent a person is, less likely chances that they even believe in God, because they are God themselves, right? So those are methods that he's explaining. He's explaining to Arjuna, and through walking him through all the chapters of Bhagavad-gita, he will, like he started with Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Now in 6th chapter, he's talking about Dhyana Yoga. And also here in 8th chapter, in these verses where he's talking about leaving the body in this time and that time, he's still talking about the mystic yogis, right? But in 12th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, when you come to devotional service, right, there he will propound what the actual characteristics of Bhakti Yoga are. So as bhaktas, we really don't mind or care wherever we are, right? Vasudeva parasarve na kutaschana bhevyati sarg apavarga narkeshu api tulyartha darshinaha. So a devotee of the Lord is not afraid of everything. Why? Because he's always, he doesn't care whether he's in the heavenly planets or whether he's in the hellish planet. Right? Those of us who want to enjoy for ourselves, for our own sake, we want to enjoy sense gratification for this body. We will be worried about this fact that, oh, I'm being put into this planet. Am I going to get a samosa or not? Do they make that or not? Right? Are the beds soft or not? Is there air conditioning or not? As long as we are see, in all these questions, the focus is on my enjoyment. So when a focus is on my enjoyment, I want to enjoy, then the yogi will say, okay, now I want to control, because where you go in the next life, there are a lot of factors that determine that, right? It's a karmic reactions. And the yogis are able to manipulate that and say, okay, the karmic reactions are there, but I'm going to create some karmic reactions now by doing all this dhyana yoga. And then getting those mystic powers, I'll be able to leave my body at a suitable time, so that it's a sure thing that I will go to the moon planet, which is a heavenly planet, like that, right? And why? Because the sole purpose is they're looking for some powers. And you have got more powers in the heavenly planets, in the higher planets, so they want to go there. A devotee is not looking for power at all. A devotee is very humble and meek in the heart, and the devotee just wants to serve Kṛṣṇa. So it doesn't matter to the devotee. That's why Kṛṣṇa says immediately, like 2 verses later, he says, a devotee is never bewildered, doesn't care. Classic example, Prahlad Maharaj wasn't born in the best of the families. Was he born in the best of the families?
No.
That he could pursue devotional service as he wanted, right? His mom would say, okay, now let's chant Hare Krishna in the morning, read Srimad Bhagavatam, let's go to the temple, do some. Nothing like that. His father was right out there to kill him, right? Did he continue in his devotional service? He did.
Yes.
Yes.
A devotee doesn't care whether my dad is after my life or whoever is going to kill me or he's going to throw me from the cliff of a mountain. Doesn't care. Like that. Yeah? Does that answer you?
Yes,
question?
Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Any other comments from what you read?
Mataji, can we find out the life over the other planets like moon planet and other planets?
You want to find out what? You want to find out about how the life is there?
How the life is means they also keep serving the Lord and they are also in devotional service?
Okay, so now this is a better question. Okay. Now, let me let me go a little bit into the structure of our universe, right? Which we have been referring. So always we say Chauda Bhuvan, right? 14 Bhuvan, 14 planetary systems. So what is a planetary system? A planetary system is a system of millions of planets. It's not a solar system, right? Many solar systems. Of course, we don't even believe in that solar system as science tells us. So, yeah, so we have 14 planetary systems and we are in the middle planetary system. And then above us, there are planets and below us, there are planets. Now, sometimes we think that, any planet that is below me will be worse than where I am, right? I mean, we have got some limited types of enjoyments here. I mean, we might have 120 different kinds of wine, but then that's all that it is, right? And you might think that as you go to the downward planets, it's going to get less, right? The flavors will get reduced. And as you go higher up in the higher planets, the flavors will just increase, right? That is not the case. The Bhagavatam tells us that is not the case. Actually, opulence in the lower planets, which is Patal, Loks, Rasatal, Talatal, Sutal, those 7 planetary systems which are below, there the opulence is even more than the higher planetary system, right? So people who just do pious activities, but do not include Kṛṣṇa, right? So they have done pious activities, they have lived, a life, a good life, but there was no Kṛṣṇa in it. So according to karmic reactions, they have given millions of dollars in donation for this and that cause. So they will get an automatic reward for that. But there is no Kṛṣṇa there. So they are sent to a planetary system where there is no Kṛṣṇa, but there is opulence. So opulence in the lower planetary system is actually much more than the opulence in the higher planetary system. Okay. However, in the lower planetary system, there's no concept of Kṛṣṇa. People just enjoy life. Left, right, and center, they'll enjoy life. And then, but the Sudarshan Chakra still comes to kill them, right? They are scared of death, right? And then in the upper planetary system, the opulence is less than the opulence. So in the upper planetary system, the opulence is less as compared to the lower planetary system, but it is definitely more than what we have here. You see the difference, right? It'll be better than what we have in a moon planet, but it'll be less than what is there in Talatal, Rasatal, like that. Okay. Now, what's the difference between the upper planetary system, the lower planetary system? The difference is in lower planetary system, there's no God. But in the upper planetary system, people are devotees of the Lord. They are devotee. They will engage in devotional service also. Okay?
Yes.
And so they are also exhausting their karmic reaction. We are also exhausting, those below are also exhausting their karmic reaction. And after they exhaust their karmic reaction, they will come back to this middle ground. From there, they can then pursue wherever they want to go, upper or lower, right? But what do we want to do? We just want to get the heck out of this place. We don't care 14, 16, 17, whatever planetary system. I don't want to be here. Why? Because in all the planetary system, there is, death is there.
Hare Krishna Mataji. One question comes to my mind that when Lord went to beg for only 3 steps from Bali Maharaj, and he had put his foot on his head and had put him down to the Patal Loka. And God himself said that I will be your doorkeeper always. I'm very happy with you. So, Mataji, he is there. He is enjoying all the opulence over there. And Kṛṣṇa is also with him. So,
but he's a devotee. He's a devotee, but born in a demonic family. So he will stay in that area, doesn't have visa for upper planetary systems, but he will get some opulences, right? He'll get that. And then Bali Maharaj in his next life will become a better person, and then pursue devotional service in proper manner. So these are Kṛṣṇa's pastimes, and Kṛṣṇa's pastimes are esoteric, out of the world, and not necessarily how it happens all the time. For example, with Putana, right? Putana got elevated to the status of a dhatri, planets, right? But that's not necessarily that if I try to kill Kṛṣṇa, then he will, always elevate me there. There's so much happens behind their previous lives and things like that.
We'll call you back.
Okay. Team, if you're having private conversations, please mute yourself first. It breaks my thought process. Thank you. Yeah, so Varshana Mataji, does that answer your question?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. Okay. Now, we have to remember that there is a difference between lower planetary systems and hellish planets. When they say you'll go to Narak, that doesn't mean that Patal Lok is Narak. Patal Lok is not Narak, right? So, hellish planets, they are below, definitely. Actually, they are even below the 14. Like if you're talking, 1 is the highest, like that. So they are even below the 7 lower planetary systems. It's even below there. And they are closer to Garbhodakshay Vishnu, actually. Remember, from Garbhodakshay Vishnu's navel, all these planetary systems come, right? The 14 planetary systems are there. They look like the stem of a lotus, with Brahma's planet at the top looking like a lotus flower, right? Like that. So if these are the 14 planetary systems are finished over here, then the hellish planets are somewhere there. Bhagavatam, 5th canto, tells you about that. Right? So they'll do that. But then also remember that with all these opulences, there is a chance of people becoming proud. Look at Indra. He lives in the heavenly planets. He's a devotee of the Lord. But see what he does every now and then. So all this opulence is not good. That's why in this middle planetary system is the best planetary system to pursue devotional service.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Okay. Any other reflections before we go to the topic for today?
You
have a question?
I have this sloka. I did it, the purport. Brahma bhuna loka pune avitnino jana mam upayatya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate. So here he says, from the highest planet to the material world down to the lowest, all our places are misery, where the repeated birth and death take place. So, but one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So to go to his abode, we have to chant. Is that right, Mataji?
Right.
24/7 we should be
Hare
constantly
Nama, Hare
thinking
Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam.
Kalau nasteva nasteva katiranyada.
Right. So that's the Yuga Dharma. That's what we're supposed to do in this.
So that was one thing. And another one is Kavim Puranam Anusasitam Anor Aniyamsam Anusmara.
Yeah, you don't have to recite the words. You can put your question. I got the words.
But the purport says one should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is oldest and is a controller, who is smaller than smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and he is transcendental beyond this material nature. So, all these things, normal person, does he know everything?
You tell me.
He may not. He is the smallest of small. What is that? A small. He is the oldest, and then he is smaller than the smallest. So, how a normal person, his mind is that he cannot all these things. He cannot think unless he chant 24/7. Think of Kṛṣṇa and listen to Bhagavad-gita. Then only he knows. So,
he'll get the realization. It comes from within, right? Kṛṣṇa says that from within the heart, he will give the illumination to the soul. But you have to engage in the devotional service. Tejam eva anukampartam aham ajnanajam tama nashyame atma bhavosto jnana deepena bhashyata. He is going to instruct you from inside.
So, for example, in Mataji, the more and more I listen to Bhagavatam classes in the morning, no matter morning I do, night, Friday night I listen from you. And like that.
But
today I learned a new thing. Like Brahma, he is a second creator. Is that right? But he himself created Narada and then 4 Kumaras. But he couldn't succeed. He wanted them to do the material world and then do...
What is your question?
No, my question is, what is that he tried to tell his own sons, no? But he couldn't succeed. He couldn't make them understand They do. They were born himself, born by nature.
Yeah, but what is the question? Yeah, what is the question?
My question is, he got angry. Brahma got angry.
Okay.
Which he's not supposed, then he realizes.
But what is your question again?
These are the things in spiritual this thing they are having. So what is it we normal people can control?
Brahma is not in the spiritual planet. Brahma
Brahmaloka, yeah.
He is in the material planet.
Oh, he's in the material planet.
He's the 14th planet. If you count 1 to 14, he's on the topmost. He's inside the universe. He's very much in the material world, and he creates, right?
Yeah.
He's mode of passion. He creates, and he's under Rajsik, right? So a person who creates, you will also know that sometimes when we are cooking, even if you're cooking in the temple, things are not going, then people get angry. So when we are in the mode of passion, anger is a very natural thing to happen. And that is what happened. Like Brahma is thinking he's a controller. He's thinking, I produced these kids, they should completely obey me. And that didn't happen. So then he gets angry, right? But on the other hand, when you look at a bhakta, who's also living within these 4 planetary systems, the classic case of Durvasa Muni, right? And Ambarish Maharaj, he's a devotee. Ambarish Maharaj didn't get angry no matter how much Durvasa did, right?
Yeah.
So first thing you have to understand is that Brahma is living in the material world. He's a soul like you and I. He's not Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you very much, Mata.
Okay. Good. Okay. So anything else before we go to the verse of today? Okay, I take that to be a no. And let me find out where my verse is today. Bhagavad-gita. Today's verse is 8.7. That's a very interesting verse. And I'm bringing this up on your screens here, quite often quoted by
sarveṣu kāleṣu.
most of our acharyas. Tasmāt sarveṣu kāleṣu anusmara yudhya mayy arpita-mano-buddhir evaiṣyasy asaṁśayaḥ. Tasmāt sarveṣu kāleṣu anusmara yudhya mayy arpita-mano-buddhir evaiṣyasy asaṁśayaḥ. Tasmāt sarveṣu kāleṣu anusmara yudhya mayy arpita-mano-buddhir evaiṣyasy asaṁśayaḥ. Synonyms. Tasmāt, therefore. This means the verse is starting with therefore. This means he's trying to connect this verse with something else that he spoke in the previous verses. Okay? Tasmāt, therefore. Sarveṣu, at all. Kāleṣu, times. Me. Anusmara, go on remembering. Anu means to follow in step by step, right? So smara is to remember. Go on for remembering. You remember now, and then again follow it with another remembrance. Follow that with another remembrance, right? Yudhya, fight. Cha, also. Mayy, unto me. Arpita, surrendering. Manaḥ, mind. Buddhiḥ, intellect. Unto me. Eva, surely. Eṣyasi, you will attain. Asaṁśayaḥ, beyond a doubt. Srila Prabhupada's translation, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Kṛṣṇa, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without a doubt. Purport. This instruction to Arjuna is very important for all men engaged in material activities. The Lord does not say that one should give up his prescribed duties or engagements. One can continue them and at the same time think of Kṛṣṇa by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This will free one from material contamination and engage the mind and intelligence in Kṛṣṇa. By chanting Krishna's name, one will be transferred to the supreme planet Kṛṣṇa Lok without a doubt. All right, we'll stop here and then discuss this verse. What are the thoughts that come to your mind?
Actually, this is the best verse in the whole chapter.
in the whole chapter.
I mean, at least for me. It's so simple and it translates the meaning so well.
Right.
Mataji, here Krishna says, carry out your prescribed duties of fighting. Not only that, but in this battlefield, he is saying Arjuna fighting. But he always says, do your duty. Is that right?
Yes.
Always he says, do your duty and then leave rest to me.
Right.
That is a human being. It's very hard, Mataji.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So,
and
for
that is why
that,
chanting, chanting makes it easy. Because through chanting and through devotional service, you connect with Krishna. Right? And we have been reading in the previous verses that when you connect with Krishna, then Krishna will help you. We have this, the traditional story about two birds sitting on a tree and one is eating all that. And when he turns the face towards the other bird, right? And the other bird starts to instruct. Same thing happened in this chapter also until he said, Shishyasteham shadi mam tam prapanna. Right? And I remember this was 15 years ago. Deepa Mataji and I were in a Bhakti Vriksh class. I think it was in our own home. And so this verse was read, Shishyasteham shadi mam tam prapanna. And we were talking about how difficult it is to surrender, right? And then Deepa Mataji said, yes, just like shadi.
Oh my God, you remember that? Oh,
So, shadi, yeah, it is difficult to do.
But
and
Mataji,
then at
in
the
this,
same, sorry, go
no,
ahead, Mataji.
in this verse, he tells him to carry out his prescribed duty of fighting. So in today's life, today, what is equivalent to the
Equivalent of fighting?
prescribed duty of fighting?
Yeah, no. He's saying you're a Kshatriya, your prescribed duty is to fight.
Yeah.
You are a Brahmana, your prescribed duty is to do like a Brahmana, right? You are, Vaishya, your prescribed duty is to work like a Vaishya, whatever the Vaishya is supposed to do, right? But he's saying always remember me,
Oh.
right? So,
But what? Sorry, go ahead, Mataji.
Yeah, so what I was saying was that he's saying, remember me. Now, I remember when I was 18, I lost my best friend in an automobile accident. Actually, she was hit by a truck. So she used to tell me at that age, she was 18 when she passed away, that, I wish I die now. And one of you was saying that and I scolded you. I wish I die now because what I want is that I die and then everybody comes to see me die, right? And so you want to be the focus of attention, right? And you know what? She did die. So be careful of what you ask for. And about 1,000 people came. She was very popular, father very popular. It was university town. Everybody came, right? So we have this tendency to be remembered, right? We want people to remember. Some people will even tell you what words to put on their gravestone. I want people to remember me like that. Right?
That's the ego.
Yeah.
Mataji, another thing is I have a doubt. See, when we pray Krishna, we're not supposed to ask anything from him. He knows what he can give. Is that right? No, don't. Usually, my mother used to say, no, don't pray when you need something.
Yes.
You should do all the time, but don't pray when you need something.
Right.
That's not the correct thing, when we pray Krishna.
Yes.
When we need something.
However, However, in the Bhagavad-gita that we read in the previous chapters, Chaturvida bhajante maam jana sukritam Arjuna, arto jigyasu artharthi jnani cha bhartarshipa. And he says artharthi is one who wants some economic gains. And if that person comes to Krishna, he's purely asking, I want to win that lottery. I want that promotion. I want my business to expand, right? He's purely asking for economic gains. And then Krishna sees that. Now, Krishna has got this habit of seeing only the good. not the bad. So Krishna sees the good and he says, at least he has a relationship with me. He did not try any other means. He did not go to the demigods to ask for something. He came to me. So there is a difference there, right? Or sometimes you will be so dependent on Krishna that you will always ask, like, look at the Vrajvasis. Anything happened, they were always turning to Krishna, who was 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old. Because that's all that they understand. I'm totally soul surrendered to Krishna. I know Krishna is the supreme. Krishna is the greatest. He's the only one he can solve. So they are asking in that mood. Go ahead, Varshana Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, I remember just now, my father used to say, "Karni aisi kar chalo, jag roe tum haso." So from this, you see that you do such a karma that people remember you. Does the ego stands there also?
Hold on for 1 second. Hold on for 1 second. Your voice is coming muddled.
Yeah, the voice is not clear.
Yeah. Can you repeat that? Yeah, I heard about that. You should do something so good that when you die, people should be, it's people who should be crying and not you. Yeah. After that, I couldn't hear anything.
So is there a ego in this also, or
Absolutely.
it is?
Well, there is.
You missed one part of it. I don't remember that poem by heart, but I can tell you of something similar, right? And something similar, what they say is that when a child is born, right? What does a child do first thing?
Cries.
Right, cries, right? So we come crying into this world, okay? And what he's saying is we should come crying into this world and then you should go laughing out of this world, happy. And why do you go laughing out of this world? Who will go laughing out of this world? At a time when everything that you had is being taken away. Everything that you had is taken away. Who is going to go happily? What is that person's consciousness who's leaving this body happily?
He has already totally surrendered soul and he has no attachment with anything.
He has no attachment. Exactly. When he has no attachments to possessing anything, whether it's a relationship, whether it's material things, and he's laughing because that is one reason he doesn't care. And second reason he could be laughing, sometimes laughing and smiling are used in the same term. He's smiling because he's going back home.
Yes.
So death should not be understood. Like for us, don't understand or don't take death as I am leaving my home where I lived. Death is not that I'm leaving my home. Death is I'm
going to my home.
And that will be the complete paradigm shift. Complete paradigm shift.
True. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Did I answer your question or did I get sidetracked?
When my father used to say this, I always used to think that he tells me so nicely that I should be good to all humanity.
Humanities, right? Exactly. And then that verse says, "Aisi karni kar chalo, hum hase jag roye," right? So like do something like that, that the person who's leaving is going laughing and the others are crying. So now look at the situation. Why would somebody cry? When their father dies, the son is happy because he's going to inherit everything, right? Material son. So don't think that when parents die, everybody is unhappy. There are people, there are souls who are happy, right? When the old man has kicked the bucket. So he's saying that you do something, you act in this world in such a way that when you leave, you'll be laughing. And why will you leave laughing? Because you would have already become a saint. You'd have attained sainthood by giving up all your attachments and knowing the reality of this life, that this is a dukkha and I'm getting out of this, I'm going back home and I'm meeting Krishna where I'm going to serve. So naturally that excitement is there, right? And why are others crying? Because they lost a devotee. Ye nilo prema dhana. They cry. Hundreds of years after they have gone, we are still crying. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we had his disappearance day recently, we're still crying. So do something that the world is going to miss you, the world is going to, in that way. So that is what so there is a devotional element to that poem, Varshana Mataji. It is not just philanthropy.
Yes.
I mean, even among the case of philanthropists, people will cry, but not necessarily the philanthropist. The philanthropist might still cry also because of his attachment to his activity of philanthropism, where there is no Krishna, perhaps. Yeah. Right?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, but good point there. So what here is saying, Krishna is saying, tasmāt sarveṣu kāleṣu, right? Tasmāt sarveṣu kāleṣu. So he's bringing something from the previous verses, right? Previous verses will be verse 8.5 and 8.6. So what was 8.5? Tab yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajyatante kalevaram tam tam evaiṣyasy kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita, right? So in whatever consciousness that you have, you are guaranteed that you will get that. And in the previous verse 8.5, he says, Antakale cha mameva smaran bhutva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam yati nasyatra sansaya. So we had read there that he's saying Antakale, at the time of death, if somebody is thinking about me,
his body, yeah.
right? And he will get my qualities. And we had talked about that. Forget about Krishna's qualities, which of course, Shakumaladhe Mataji has that verse memorized. But I was talking about what are our qualities? What are the 6 qualities we have? Mad, Matsar, Man, Lobha, all these dirty qualities we have. And then, when we leave our body thinking about Krishna, you'll get Krishna's quality, which are exactly opposite of all these things, right? So he has told that in verse 5 and verse 6. And so now he's saying that, therefore, for you to be able to remember me at the time of death, what you're supposed to do, tasmāt sarveṣu kāleṣu, at all the time, right? And this is what the difference is. For us, it is every now and then. Every now and then I think about Krishna, right? Maybe it is prayer time. I went to the temples. I'm thinking for a little while. And then I see somebody wearing a beautiful sari. I walk over there and start chatting with that person, forget about Krishna. So every now and then we think about Krishna. But this, after hearing this verse, we should be saying, from now onwards, I'm going to think about Krishna. And that's a world of it. And how? Sarveṣu kāleṣu, at all the time.
All the time.
Right? So how will you think about Krishna at all the time? Because immediately the fear comes in our heart. The fear comes in our heart is that if I'm going to think about Krishna all the time, what's going to happen to my food? What's going to happen to my job? What's going to happen to everything, right? And so there is this balance that we need to maintain between our spiritual life and our material life. And sometimes we give up the spiritual in favor of the material because the material is visible and hitting you on the face. And so it's like, okay, so let us forget. Let's not chant the round. Let me first solve this problem which is in my hand. And then I will go to once in a while. And this time is a while because I'm distressed. I'll go and chant some rounds, right? But if you connect with Krishna and start doing devotional service to Krishna, then you will get the strength and the intelligence. Mayy arpita-mano-buddhir. He's saying that you give your mind and you also give your intelligence to me. Right? People who are, governed by their mind only are very emotional people. Right? Mind plans an idea and you execute on it. Somebody said something to you, you felt bad, and then you give it back. Like that's very emotional, hot-tempered, hot-blooded. If you like that, right? Those who apply their intelligence, they are applying their intelligence. For everything, they have their logic, their understanding, conclusions, everything. They will become cold-hearted. From hot to cold, mind to intelligence. And we have to find that balance in between so that we are warm-hearted and not hot-hearted or cold-hearted. We should be warm-hearted. And from where are we going to get the warmth in our heart? We're talking about the heart region. Who lives in that region? Together
Krishna.
with us. Krishna, right? So that balance, Krishna and chanting to Krishna and the devotional service to Krishna will give you that balance. Will give you that balance to maintain the balance between your devotional practice and between your material practice also. So you see what Kṛṣṇa is saying in this verse. He is saying, tasmāt sarveṣu kāleṣu mam anusmara, right? Right? And in the previous verse, he was saying, yam yam vapi snarmadam tajyatante kalevaram, right? Ayo antakale cha mame we told all that. So one might just think, oh, tasmāt sarveṣu kāleṣu, I have to remember Kṛṣṇa. So we just say, okay, sarveṣu kāleṣu, all the time I have to remember Kṛṣṇa. So when the time comes for us to do our duties, it's like, no, I'm doing devotional service to Kṛṣṇa, I won't do it, right? So if there's a noisy background, if there's a music or conversations happening, could you mute yourself, please? Thank you. So, so he's saying, tasmāt sarveṣu kāleṣu. What does he say after that? Mam anusmara. What is he after that?
Mayy arpita-mano-buddhir.
No. Tasmāt sarveṣu kāleṣu mam anusmara. After that, what is he saying?
Yudhya.
Yudhya, right? So he did not say, do not do your duty. His duty,
Go and fight.
Go and fight. Right? So working in our devotional service, being a devotee thinking about Kṛṣṇa doesn't mean that you don't do your don't do your material duties that you have. You have to do your material duties. And if you are to look at Arjuna, he made that perfect balance. He was a great devotee of Kṛṣṇa, but he made that perfect balance. He was also the best of the archers, right? And he was instrumental in winning the Mahabharata war there, right? So when we do devotional service, right? When we do devotional service, you start to know Kṛṣṇa more and more. Then this tendency for me to be remembered will go away. And the tendency to always remember Kṛṣṇa will be there, right? And sometimes what happens is that we think about, I want to contribute to society. I want to do something great. I want to just, solve all the problems of humanity. We want to do that, right? Then we'll follow certain routes. Look at Srila Prabhupada. He has solved the problem of humanity. At least he solved my problems. I'm sure he solved your problems as well, right? And look at what Kṛṣṇa did to Srila Prabhupada. He was trying to spend time in building his business so that he could earn money and then spread Kṛṣṇa consciousness to the Western world, which his spiritual master wanted him to do. But what did Kṛṣṇa do? Did not allow him to do that. Did not help him in progressing in that route. Instead, he gave him more and more trouble. But Srila Prabhupada continued his engagement in the devotional service. And so by being continuously connected with Kṛṣṇa in devotional service, Kṛṣṇa was pleased with him, and ultimately Srila Prabhupada contributed so much in such a phenomenal way. I mean, he was contributed throughout his life. Of course, he was translating, but towards the end of his pastimes here, he contributed phenomenally, isn't it? Unparalleled.
Till the last moment he was translating and it was being recorded.
Yes, so this means tasmāt sarveṣu kāleṣu mam anusmara yudhya. He was fighting the battle with his illness, but Kṛṣṇa was always there in his heart, right? And also what that means is that tasmāt sarveṣu kāleṣu mam anusmara yudhya is that whenever you're going to do any activities, right? Whenever we are doing any activities, you always have to do that little check in your heart. Is this beneficial for Kṛṣṇa consciousness? Is this activity beneficial for my Kṛṣṇa consciousness? It could be anything. Should I have that second helping of ice cream? Is that, somebody might say, oh, well, just a second round of ice cream. Well, how is it going to impact my Kṛṣṇa consciousness? You tell me how it's going to impact the second round. How do you think it could impact your Kṛṣṇa consciousness?
One thing, I'll be too full and won't be able to concentrate. Second thing, I may be taking somebody else's share.
Correct. And then, all the subsequent things like, also next day, same time, your mind is going to remind you to have the ice cream again. Because that's how this world goes. That's how this world runs. Okay. So we are on the top of the hour. I will open up again for any questions, reflections that you have.
Mataji, do we...
Second, I think it can be out of greed also, na. Mil raha hai to kha lo.
Yes.
Greed.
Yes,
It
greed.
increases that feeling of
And the
greed.
more you feed, the more you feed your greed, it only grows. So lobh only grows by feeding it. Yeah. Yeah. There was I think Kiran Mataji, you were going to say?
Mataji,
Yeah.
I wanted to know that do we offend Kṛṣṇa by worshipping the demigods as well?
It is not the right way, because Krishna says, Bhajtam avidhi purvakam. You are not doing it in the right manner. And I think this question surfaces every now and then, so I might as well address it here. Number one, Krishna he's bhav grahi Janardhan. He knows your intentions. Okay. So sometimes you might go to Ganesha and say, Ganesh, you remove obstacles. There are so many obstacles in my life towards pursuing my devotional service. So what you're doing is you're going to a devotee. Ganesh is a devotee of Krishna. You're going to Ganesh, who is a devotee of the Lord, and you're asking a devotee, just as we ask all the Vaishnavas, right? My mom is sick, please pray for her, this and that. Please pray for me. Similarly, they're just praying to a devotee and saying, help me in my devotional service. You're praying to a demigod. Is that wrong? No. Right? Because you are praying with that, your intentions are different. On the other hand, if you're praying to Lakshmi and we are saying, okay, I want money so that I want to have a bangla. Now, if you're praying to Lakshmi and saying, I want to have a big bangla so that I can have Bhagavad-gita classes in that, then your prayer and your request has actually become a transcendental request. Again, Krishna knows your intentions, right? And then he said that in the previous chapter, chapter number 7, that if a person goes to demigods, even for his own thing, for his own sense gratification, person is going there, and the demigods give him that, then still the demigods cannot give the benedictions or whatever the person is asking without Krishna's sanction. So Krishna sanctions that empowers demigods to give whatever they are asking, right? But there will be consequences of that. So sometimes we might just think that, a person always goes to a demigod and he's doing demigod worship. But remember, in whatever species of life we are, or even in the human life, whatever life that we have, and whatever life experiences that we go through, your devotional service increases. That doesn't mean that you will have a japamala at the end of your life, and that's how the devotional service, your devotional practice increases. Not like that. For some, it might happen. For some, they might just live so lavishly. So lavishly, they want this, they want that, they want this, they want that, and then the wife dies, and it's like, oh, what happened? And then they start thinking. So they must have gotten all the wealth by doing worship of demigods, right? But then in the end, there is a realization. So Krishna will behave differently with different people.
Thank you.
But that's why Krishna says, no, that if you want to worship demigods, you can, but in the end, the demigods are also under my control. So why not
Right.
just worship me?
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
when who knows the source of the well, in second chapter we said, right? Your purposes of water can be taken care by small ponds and rivers, but you should know, if you know who's the source behind them, then if you just go to the source, you'll get it, right? And yeah.
Mataji, I wanted some clarification. There are certain things like praying to demigods, not praying, but there are some certain things which you're in habit of doing right from the childhood, like you have seen your parents doing it or like this. But there you're praying to demigods, but without asking anything, but you're just doing like this. Like from the childhood, we were keeping the Shivratri fast, worshipping, giving water to Shivling, or going and praying just like that, or keeping Navratra fast, or keeping puja and everything. Now, the thing is this, you're not asking anything, but as a habit or as you are taught right from the childhood, you have doing this. Should we continue with that or should we not?
Yeah, just 1 second. A text has come because I had a meeting set up with somebody. Let me just tell them I'm a little delayed. Yeah, so if you were just bowing down your head before a shivling, right, without understanding anything, but they are demigods, they're all devotees of Krishna, and you were doing certain pious activities like keeping a fast, right, for Shivratri, keeping a fast, or Navratri, keeping a fast. So all these pious activity credits grow, and they add up. They will add up, and at a certain point, when they reach a certain level, then the circumstances in your life will change so that Krishna consciousness will come into your life, right? Now, once the Krishna consciousness comes into your life, and you start seeing like, oh, Shiva is the, what does Shivji do? We're sitting with his eyes closed and meditating. Who is he meditating on?
Krishna,
Krishna.
because he is his greatest devotee.
Shambhu is the greatest devotee of Krishna, right? So now you see what you have been doing all your life. Anjane mein, unknowingly, you have been bowing down to a devotee of Krishna. And such is the power of devotees that they will bring Krishna to you. Such is the power of the devotees, right? So now comes the question that after realizing Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, now if somebody, or you're with a family, they are Shiv Bhaktas, you go there, they say, okay, come on now, because of social constraint, you go there, right? And now the question is, should I bow down before Shiva or not bow down? And that's what I was saying, is that bhav grahi janardhan. If you don't have to tell the whole family that I'm bowing down to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shiva. You're saying, I'm in your mind, you're bowing down to a devotee of the Lord. There's no harm in doing that. If you want to keep austerities because Shiva came down on a particular day, a great devotee came on a particular day, do that. Austerities are not meant for pleasing Shiva. Austerities are just meant for us to help control our senses so that we can, or fasting and all that, so that we can focus on Krishna more by doing these austerities, right? So your mindset and your consciousness has changed when you're doing it, right? I mean, sometimes people can be doing good things with a very bad consciousness also, right? A person, a daughter-in-law can serve the mother-in-law a lot to say, okay, let me gain her favor. Let me become into her inner circle, and then she will give me the keys to the vault. And then I'll take away all the jewels, right? People can do service with any intention. So it's all about the intention, right? And what we have done in our lives. So in this life, things are going to happen to us. We will be pushed by the waves of the material energy. It's going to push us, but it is in our hand. Where do we want to be pushed? And that is why they say that when you are being pushed in this material world, left, right, and center, you get into a boat. And who is the captain of that boat?
Krishna.
My guru is the captain of the boat.
My guru is the captain. Yeah. Right? Guru Karnadharan, right? He's the one who will help you cross this material ocean. And they are going to tell you, what is good, what is bad, can you do demigod worship, can you not? And I think last time you missed it, I had also mentioned that there was a devotee, or maybe I talked in some other forum, talking about that. I will be giving a class tomorrow in my god sister Yugal Mataji's home. It might be in Hindi though. I'm still asking. Yeah. Yeah, so I will broadcast. I'm still finalizing the time, maybe 6:30, something like that. Okay, I will post once I know a little bit more on that. All right, any other questions or comments or reflections?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Damdat Pranam. Mataji, I also was a devotee of Lord Shiva before coming to Krishna consciousness, and had a very firm faith, and used to fast every Monday. And of course, I used to ask for things, no doubt that. But then, Mataji, when I came to Krishna consciousness, then one very senior Mataji in Pune, she told me that, Basha, if you keep all the pictures of whatever you have in the temple, it will deviate your mind and you won't be able to concentrate. So nothing will happen, because Shiva is a devotee of Krishna, he will be very happy that you are, actually he is taking you there. So you don't need that. Then I said, what should I do with the pictures, what I have? So she said, no problem, give all the pictures in the temple and we do whatever is to be done. And I did that. Hare Krishna.
There you go. Thank you for sharing that story. Anything else? Should we call it a day? Mataji? So you're going to think about Krishna and do your thing. So don't fight. Hey, go back and fight with your spouse. Like what Shraddha-mataji said. Tasmāt sarveṣu kāleṣu manusmara yudhya. I have to do yudhya. So let's start from home. Yudhya was for Arjuna, but whatever you are doing, whether you're a student, you are studying, whether you are and when you know, whenever you're doing an activity, and if you get in the habit of whatever you're doing and wherever you are, if you get in the habit of, like, Krishna is sitting right next to me, then you will be mindful of what you're speaking, what you're doing, what you're eating, everything. That's also a remembrance of Krishna. When you drink some water and you think of taste of Krishna. When you go to pick up a butter, you think of Krishna. Right? Because we can dwell on certain things. Like when we pick up a butter, I can also say, oh, butter, it's fattening, and then I'm trying to be size 10 or whatever. And then this is bad. And then the mind is like that, from one thought, another thought is born. And then it's like, oh, that Mrs. such and such, she has put on so much weight. Look at that.
Yeah,
and the dress she was wearing doesn't even look good on her back. So mind will take you. The manoratena siddhavato mayy. So you will be outside, right? But we should try to go and look inside. And so when you look at it, you can, yes, it's a good practice to say butter is fattening. I have to be moderate in that. And then think of something where Krishna is talking about moderation. Where does he talk about moderation? Yukta ahara viharasya. Yeah, yukta sapnasya bodhasya. He's saying be balanced. So there are so many opportunities in life that you can always think about him. When you think about smaller than the smallest, like how do you imagine Krishna is smaller than the smallest? So now you can think of two things. Look at Hanuman. He became very, very small. And he went to meet Sita, right? That's smaller than the smallest. But Krishna says, I'm smaller than the smallest. And Krishna says that I live in parmanustha. I am also in the atoms. So if Krishna is in the atom and we say atom is the smallest particle, if he's inside it, this means he's smaller than an atom, right? So this way, as you are also logically thinking about these verses, you are thinking about Krishna.
Then which is the example of older than the oldest?
Older than the oldest is that he is there from the beginning. Adi, right? Aham sarvasya prabhavo, matta sarvam pravartate. If everything comes out of him, he is the older than the oldest, right? If Brahma is the first person who comes out of Krishna, and is considered to be the oldest in this universe, but he came out of Krishna. I mean, Krishna.
Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam.
There you go. Good citation. Yeah.
Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam.
But also I want to mention over here is that it says Aditya Varnam.
Aditya Varnam Tamsa.
Aditya is what? Aditya Varnam.
Sun.
Yeah. What is the color of sun?
Bright red.
Golden color.
Orange.
Yeah, so you think about Krishna as Aditya Varnams, gold is golden, right? You think of him as golden. So in this particular verse, up until now, they are talking about yogis, right? So yogi is going to meditate in his heart like that. Aditya Varnam, Anushasitanam, controller. Krishna is not the controller. He loves to play. He has appointed controllers underneath him, the Vishnus. The Vishnus are the controllers. So this verse is talking about concentrating on Vishnu form, right? That's why Aditya Varnam is there, because Krishna is black or gray, right? So keep this in mind. Okay, so I really need to leave now. If you have more questions, you can put them in the chat and I'll address them, because somebody's waiting on the call. Okay.
Thank you so much, Shraddha-mataji.
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Gaur Premanand.